How are you for?
Todd?
Did you hear Mike?
Todd, Tom, you, me?
I haven't seen Todd.
here.
Oh.
Okay. Sorry about that. Pledge allegiance to the
To the
flag
flag of the
United
United
States
States
of
of
America,
America,
To the
and
to the
Republic.
Republic
republic
for which it
for which
stands,
Stands
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all. Mike, you're on. You have a chief. Was there a chief's meeting that we can talk about?
No, we've not had any chiefs meetings. We've just had operational meetings.
Okay. Chief's report, you have anything you need?
As far as,
Well, it's on our agenda as a chief's report.
I don't. I never
Okay.
got a copy of the agenda, so I'm not unprepared and coming back from a call.
I'm sorry, Mike.
We'll be out there.
Commissioners meeting minutes, we don't have any from the last Zoom meeting. I don't have any. Do we want to vote and accept those? It was a Zoom meeting.
Yes, Clay, we should vote, accept the June 4th Zoom meeting, special meeting. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second?
Second.
Hi, guys.
Second.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. Technical
okay.
problems.
It's a Zoom world, Mike.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, the second by Pete Sampieri. All those, any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor of accepting the Zoom meeting from June? Say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Excellent. Correspondence is next. Do we have any correspondence? I have, Clay Jurgen speaking, I have one. It is in response to going back to the ordinance committee. We have finally, the majority of the commissioners have approved it. So I have that ready to go back. I sent you a copy of that before the meeting. I will be sending that over to the ordinance committee. That's the only thing I have from correspondence. Financial report.
Okay, we've been all getting numerous emails for equipment needed to be repaired, annual OSHA approved stuff. So we've been doing just that. We're at 51% of our budget at this time. Assistant Chief Edwards, you have 19,000 left in your maintenance budget. I know 14 is still out there. You have a quote on a repair, but that's where you sit currently. Other than that, again, we're chugging and we're going as we needed. The other item I want to discuss with all you, we have not acted on our Steward fees for both firehouses. Normally in past practice, they've been approximately 2,000 to each company. The chair and I had words months ago about looking at revising and upping it. And in discussion tonight about sanitation in the firehouse, I think we really should revisit at that time to discuss this. So if you folks have any other question, I'm happy to answer them. But right now we're moving along. Everything that's being done is all by the emails and repairs and maintenance and OSHA requirements.
The only thing I got, Tom, if while we're on finance, if possible, we need to open a PO for Amcus. The small combi tool on 16 blew a gasket last night and is leaking at the main shaft. I'm just waiting on logistics to find out if they're going to come down or if I got to send it back while we're here.
Okay. So noted.
Clay Jurgen speaking. Any other discussion or questions on the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the report, aye.
Aye.
Hi.
That's
Motion passes. Fire Marshal's report, we all received as an email. If everybody looked at it, we just need a motion to approve that.
So moved. This is Pete.
Second,
Tom speaking, yes, I'll second it.
any discussion on it? Hoping everybody had read it.
No.
Hearing none, all in favor of accepting the Fire Marshal's report?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Building maintenance is next. Do you have anything in building maintenance other than what we're going to be discussing under unfinished business? Okay, moving on to unfinished business, which would be about the, first one is the update on the furnace. It's been an ongoing project. It is unbelievable. In the last couple of days, the steam boiler in the old firehouse has developed 2 leaks in piping, which Tony Caserta and Alex Danka looked at today. We're going to be discussing that. They fired both boilers. They both run. There seems to be an issue with the controls of heat in the new building on the hot water side. The offices are generally around 85 degrees, and I had turned the circulators off just to stop that. Tim Connors is aware of that, and he hasn't gotten back to me. He was contacting, I believe it was McKinney. On the new firehouse, the circulating motors downstairs, one of them has a bad motor mounting bracket and a bad coupling. They're going to be replacing the motor and the coupling, and they're looking at the other one at the same time. I don't have any idea on a date. He said he was going to order parts for availability. Would possibly be next week to get that up and running again. McKinney is there, and ESC is doing the programming for all the thermostats and everything else that's electronic with this whole new system. They haven't really discussed with us how it's going to work. They're still working on it. It's been a project. Any questions on that? All right. Welcome, Anne Marie.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
All right, we're under new business now. And the first one listed is appointing an assistant chief. We had discussed posting, excuse me a second. We had discussed posting this position. I sent you gentlemen a copy of the posting that we were going to post if we approved it. Any discussion on that?
Chair Tom Amy, I'll make a motion to approve and send out so we can start the process.
First, Tom, before the motion, I do have some discussion on it. This is Mike.
Point of order, Mike, you've got to
Yeah.
have a second. Motion's got to be in second, and then we can have discussion.
Well, I thought we were discussing, I thought the question was any discussion of the, all right.
Todd Andrews, I'll second the motion.
Okay, discussion.
All right, here I am. Okay, I believe this needs to have some kind of an educational requirement as any kind of a job or position. There's nothing on here about a high school graduate even, let alone, I believe it should say high school grad minimum, college degree preferred. So it should be something that should be one of the requirements. This position concerns a lot of dollars from the town, responsibility, and also responsibility for people's lives at a fire scene. So I think some type of educational background is important.
Clay Jurgen speaking. One of the things that we did was we kept the posting the same as we did for the other three chiefs when they were appointed. And I agree. And I think that if we're going to change this, it should be changed when we change all four positions. I think we should add that, not change it now for filling a position that is vacant. That's just my opinion.
Todd Andrews. While I won't speak out against having a college degree or anything, I believe we do have educational requirements in certifications we ask them to obtain prior to taking that position. Just my opinion.
Mr. Chair, Tom Amy. I agree with Mike Julian about the educational points, but I agree with the chair. When we do a total rewrite, which we're going to be looking at down the road, we then should insert it at that time. This is to get this long stall process up and running, and nothing's changed since the last time we posted it 2 years ago.
Mr. Chair, Chief Lombardi.
Go ahead, Chief. Go ahead, Chief.
I think by putting a college degree on a volunteer position, are you there?
I am.
Lost my,
Where'd he go?
Give him a second. Okay, you're
Can you-
back, Mike. We lost you. Chief,
Degree. God. Are you there?
now, we got you now, Mike.
Okay. Some type of technical issue. I think by putting a degree on the positions, that you're having a hard enough time filling the FD4 slot. By putting degrees on the position, you're going to eliminate a lot of people from the department.
I can respond to that. This is Mike. Again, I don't believe it should be a base requirement. It's a preferred requirement. If you have, it could be a tiebreaker. It could be a lot of jobs will do that when you post it. You have your minimum and then you have some preferred qualifiers. So it wouldn't necessarily eliminate anybody that doesn't have a college degree. I realize not everybody does.
Seems like you're trying.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying, but it sounds like we're trying to break. Are you?
Okay, Mike, you're fading in and out. I understand, Clay Jurgen speaking. I understand, and I think that it's something when we do a rewrite to job qualifications, and that's something we can discuss about putting that in when we rewrite the qualifications. And if we do decide on changes, that's something that we can add. I just don't want to add that on this position because it wasn't a requirement for the chief that left. I can't see adding that requirement to fill this position at this time. That's my opinion. What the? So we have a motion and a second to take and post for this position with these qualifications. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Call for a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Chair votes aye. Motion passes. We will post this in the firehouses tomorrow morning. Tom, can you take care of posting it at Great Hill? Or Mike?
Correct.
And I will take care of posting it at Citizens either tonight or tomorrow. Hang on, I lost my page. Okay, B was discuss possible changes. I think we kind of covered that, but if you'd like to discuss it more. Would anybody like to discuss more on possible changes to the chief's positions? And how we would go about doing this?
This is Pete. I would like to see a workshop for us, maybe look at this before the actual posting for all 4 positions.
Okay,
Hey, Todd Andrews, I agree with Pete on that one.
Tom, Amy, also agree.
I agree as well. Michael,
okay, so we'll have to take and set up for a workshop at a later date. How soon of a timeline do you want to do this?
This is Pete. When is the normal posting time?
May?
May.
We post May, interview in June, hire for
July.
July 1,
Okay.
or April and May. We make appointments in June for July 1, so it's April, excuse me.
So we could start looking after the new year. Maybe things will open up a little.
Sounds good to me. Okay, moving on. Discussing the sanitizing of firehouses. As we are all aware, that has ceased by the town providing that service. And we did have an incident and we were sanitizing, but we sent a letter to the town asking about what we could do to get those services reinstated, and we have not received a response that I'm aware of as of yet. What's everybody's feelings on this?
Do we know why it was stopped? This is Pete.
According to the text messages I got, it was understaffing and other things were opening up and they had to be taken care of. And overtime was the other discussion.
Oh, was the town actually doing it?
The town was doing it. I believe it was 2 gentlemen from the Board of Education that would come in, but sometimes it was one of the guys from the community center, but it was 2 guys, generally 2 or 3 guys. Tommy, you can fill us in better who that was.
Yeah, Tom, Amy, the bottom line is monetary. We were blessed to have the assistance of the school side custodians. When this peaked in March, April, and May, when it was real bad. So we received 2 custodians from the school side to assist our 3 custodians because we're down 1. So we were able to keep up and sanitize a minimum of twice a day of the firehouses, the ambulance corps, and then once a week, Nautical Valley Health. And again, it's monetary. And yes, we're short-staffed, but we were trying to figure out how to work it. But again, above us, and I don't want to get into the other avenue about it, is just logistics, and logistics would have to be planned out a little bit better to what was going on. But we still have the issue of trying to separate hats. We have the issue of, yes, there's volunteers and both firehouses are volunteers, but they're paid town employees the minute the bell rings and they're covered under workers' comp. So how do you ignore them and not allow you to service the other facilities?
Is this something the members can do?
Probably with training and somebody supplying the supplies to do it. But just to take and tell somebody to do it, I don't know if we have, I don't know, even know what they were using. I know they were using buckets and rags, but I don't know what the solutions were, or, you know, or what they were doing with it. So I think training is an option if that could be handled, and assign somebody or get somebody to do it, pay somebody to do it. I don't know. I don't have an answer. We have a steward in both firehouses that clean the firehouse, but they clean strictly, they don't do anything with the apparatus or the apparatus floor. It is strictly the offices, the floors, the bathrooms, the meeting rooms.
Right.
That's where those stewards are paid for. They're not paid for cleaning the apparatus.
Mhm.
Tom Amy to the chair. When this started, Mr. Connors was good enough to, both firehouses have the same cleaning chemicals and the dispensing machine set up. So it's town-wide, so the product is there in place. Both firehouses, it's the same standard procedure. All touch points, firehouses, upstairs, downstairs, and apparatus were done. We left the physical cleaning of the bathrooms and mopping of floors to these individual firehouse stewards. And that's how the process was.
Clay
Todd
Jurgens,
Andrews,
go ahead, Todd.
just a couple of points. First, the steward's position is not to maintain the apparatus. They don't clean the apparatus, they don't maintain it in any way. That's not part of that position. So unless the engineers take on the duties of sanitizing the apparatus, they're not going to get done, even if we ask the stewards to do it. Second, just for my own curiosity, what other town facilities are not getting done? Or is it just the fire department?
My understanding was the firehouses and the ambulance corps were not being done anymore. Tommy, is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, thank you. Chief, are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
What's your opinion on this?
The engineers have been doing the trucks with the spray chemical. They've been doing it after any large calls or at least once a week since the town has not done it.
Clay Jurgens speaking. Do you feel that that is adequate, or we need to do something more than that to protect our members?
Well, I mean, we're spraying the trucks. I don't think they're actually spraying the entire building. You know, we've kind of lumped it into the engineer's position because they are paid through the town. Did I lose you?
No, I'm just,
Okay.
I'm just thinking here. Do you feel that this is adequate, or do you feel we need to take and address it further for the safety of our members? I mean, I don't know any other way to put this. Do you feel that what we're doing is adequate and we don't have to talk to the town? Or do we have to do something on our side just to take and either do the firehouses on a more regular basis or apparatus on a more regular basis, or are we doing an adequate job now?
I mean, we definitely had to step it up since the town hasn't done it. We are trying to get the apparatus done, but again, it's based on, the amount of people that we have that can do it at the time. I don't think that the town is going to reinstate that. And that's why I had the engineers, go ahead and spray the trucks. So, they're spraying the inside cabs with the disinfectant, from the paint gun that we bought.
Yep.
And the chemical they're using is an MSA product, which does kill, once it's on the contact, it does kill it in about 15 seconds. So they've been doing that after larger calls. And then, like I said, on their nights they're doing truck checks, I would believe they're doing it. But I mean, they're getting the cab and the doors of the truck. As far as the firehouse goes, I don't think they're doing the entire firehouse, no.
This is Mike, Julian, Chief, so no one's doing the watch stations, which is where most of the traffic is. Is that true?
I would have to double check with the engineers, but I do not believe so. I did not instruct the engineers to do the building, just obviously the trucks, because technically that's what they're responsible for.
Mhm.
If we need them to do more, then we need to kind of look at their scope of their job, if you will.
This is Quinn Levy, Clay. Just a quick, my thoughts on it. With the engineers, we have multiples at both firehouses. So if they can come up with some sort of schedule where they can be down there on a daily basis to at least sweep the trucks, I think that would at least alleviate some of the problems that we have. Granted, maybe somebody may get stuck with doing it twice a week, but if there's some sort of rotation, that could help. Just my thoughts.
Still does, Clay Jurgens being Quinn, it still doesn't address the firehouse itself being cleaned.
Right. So, I mean, with the firehouse, just my opinion, I don't know financially what that would look like, but maybe we would be able to work out a deal where we pay our stewards a little bit more to go maybe more every other day. It's just.
So with any other discussions or any other suggestions, or what are we going to do?
This is Mike, Julian. My opinion is we should present it back to the town, to the Board of Selectmen. Our building is as important as the police station and anybody else, and to understand what has to be done to bring back the sanitization to at least the watch stations and the high touch areas like they were doing.
Anybody else?
I agree with Mike. This is Pete St. Perry.
Then somebody should put this into a motion that we can just send a letter back to them again, asking for assistance in doing this, and we'll do that.
This is Pete St. Perry. I'd like to make a motion that we send the town a letter asking that some sort of sanitation resume at the firehouses.
Mike, Julian, second.
Any other discussion?
Todd Andrews, should we identify in the letter what we consider the high touch areas? So they know that, okay, the watch stations, the primary bathrooms, you know, that type of thing, so they don't maybe balk at it because it's the whole building.
We can do that. Mike, is that good?
Yeah, I believe so, sure.
I think so too.
Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to send a letter to the town to discuss the possibility of the sanitization of the firehouses. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain, unfortunately, due to conflict.
And chair votes aye, motion passes. I will put together a letter tomorrow to send to the town. Next, discuss reopening of the firehouses. Unfortunately, most of that lies in the hands with town hall as to whether or not we are going to be reopening any parts of the firehouses other than for calls. I don't know how to take and say it anymore. I mean, the town is basically telling us, I mean, all meetings have to be Zoom. They're holding back on congregation, and as long as they're doing that, there won't be reopening of the firehouses. I mean, that's my opinion. I don't see how we can change from that. That's what the town is mandating right now.
Okay, my question, or the reason I brought this up, this is Mike Julian, by the way, is we're not following state guidelines. Our guys have proven that they can be trusted to wear their masks and social distance. To have a company meeting on a truck floor when there's a meeting room 30 feet away, that's more than big enough for everyone to be 6 feet apart, just seems, at least to the members, it seems also to be a little bit draconian. There's really no reason to have to lug chairs through the tiny watch station, people passing each other closer than 6 feet to get the chairs in and out to put them on the truck floor when they're already in the meeting room 6 feet apart. It just seemed like it's a safety precaution that's actually makes it worse. That's why one of the reasons I wanted to bring it up. And the state, according to the state, I believe we're at stage 3 now. So those rooms should be able to be open, at least under the state guidelines, unless there's some valley health that I don't know about.
Well, I think, I mean, I'll talk to the selectmen about it and see what they say. And I'll get back to you because, I mean, that's basically every time we have discussed it in the past. The discussion has been no. We are staying under the guidelines of no, you're not. So, and that's been the discussion. I will sit down and we'll talk again and we'll see what we can do. But
I'd be glad to go with you when you want, if you wanted to too.
sure, no problem.
Chief Lombardi to the chair.
Chief, go.
I would just err on the side of caution. Your previous discussion, you said that you're unhappy that the buildings aren't being cleaned. And on the other hand, now you're saying, let's open the buildings.
Correct.
So I think we need to be a little clear on which avenue we're going to take.
Correct.
And
Okay.
just because the state is saying that you're in phase 3, the town does not have to honor that. It's in the town's discretion.
Correct.
That's not me, that's the town.
100%.
I don't think you can go and complain that the buildings aren't being cleaned on one hand and then say, well, let's open them up. I mean, you got to figure out what battle you want to pick.
Okay, good point.
This is Mike Julian again. Michael, the two things have to go together. There's not one action without the other. Obviously, the sanitizing needs to be solved. That's not even I don't believe that's even debatable. Once that's solved, then I think we should be able to go more to the guidelines of opening up some of the house, not all of it. That's what my point was.
Well taken.
I totally understand, and I sit on the safety commission, and I go to this meeting every month, and you guys are more than welcome to come, and you're going to hear the same things that I hear.
Assistant Chief Edwards to the chair, if I may. Safety Committee just came through my place of employment, which we all know where that is. And we were told that the town does not have to follow the state guidelines. They can go under, and this is going to be the town's decision until further notice. So, I mean, you guys are free, feel free to do what you got to do, but they're not going to budge on it. And that was as of last week. Just protecting you, so nothing bad comes down.
Correct. All right, so what do we want to do? Gentlemen?
Mr. Chair, Tom Amy. Gentlemen, I apologize for having switched hats with you, but as emergency management director and as one of the team leads on this, the town, the state sets their guidelines under executive orders. The town cannot go past that. We can hold back if we wish. In reviewing it, we do hold back, and just understand the players. It's myself, the first selectman, the chief of staff, Tim Connors is a facility director, is part of it. Then we add to the fire chiefs, we add EMS chiefs, and then we turn around and add fire marshal into the bigger picture. And it's a group thought process. It's a group review and decision across the board for all town entities. So that's how the system works. That's how it's been functioning. And until it changes, this is how it's delivered. The process is delivered. I know it's frustrating, but this is what we've established.
Clay Jurgens. Tommy, does that mean that the community center is going to remain closed? The library is going to be closed? We're not going to change any of the guidelines that have been in place for the last 3 months?
Respectfully to everybody, the library is unlimited. It does curbside pickup for books and videos and that sort. And they have opened up inside that they can accommodate 8 people for computer usage in the building. With the new updates, because of measurements of what the capacity is, they can handle up to 14 people in the building at a time. That is it. There's no browsing. Everything is restricted. Community center has been running day and evening exercise type programs, and that's out of the gym, and that's measured to approximately 20 people to 21 people that can do it. That's 16 feet socially distanced apart, and everything's measured with a ventilation thought process because of that. So that's what's going on right now.
Okay, so we're just going to let this go for now, or are we going to take and talk to the town? And I understand the chief's point that we're not doing sanitizing, so how can we reopen? So what do we want to do? Sanitizing problem first?
Tom Amy, the chair, I would recommend sanitizing first. And you have myself and you have the other assistant chiefs on this who are also part of the other process, and we can take it back for the group review discussion.
Okay, so we'll proceed that way for now. Any other discussion on reopening or sanitizing? Because it seems to be the same issue. Okay, moving on. First Selectman's Roundtable, we did not have one. Chief's Requisitions, do we have any, Chief?
We don't have any requisitions. The only thing that we've purchased that we needed to purchase is obviously the hose that
Correct.
failed during hose testing. So as of right now, I do not have any recs.
All right.
We need to make some decisions in regards to Firehouse software and the emergency reporting.
Right now, or is it something we need to do in the next?
Tommy, when is the contract officially up with Firehouse? Do we actually have a date?
No, we actually don't have a date because everything's in between right now. We're halfway through the current process that we paid him. So if you're gonna move, this is a good time to move.
Chief, can you take and put together your recommendations and we'll discuss it at our next meeting and we'll make a decision on it?
Yeah, as long as that's a timely fashion. I don't know if that's gonna not overlap with Firehouse software. Do you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that information has to be ported over. Did they give you a time, Tom, after we figured out that billing issue? I just don't want to switch to a different software and not have a software ready to go. Do you know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Well, can we, again, Tom, Amy, and again, Assistant Chief Van Wert and his work on that. If we can run parallel and move that, I would prefer run parallel. Same thing as what we've done with, the town has done with the new finance software. They've done, they're running parallel systems till everything's on board correctly.
I mean, I'm for that system. I did use the demo that Chief Van Wert had gotten us. It's a really nice system. It's much more user friendly than Firehouse software. That's just my opinion. I don't, we would have to see what the other two chiefs think about it before a real decision was made. And obviously have a meeting and vote on it.
Well, can you do that and get back to us as soon as possible and we'll get it taken care of?
Okay.
That's all you have for requisitions, Chief? That's it? Just those two?
Just the 5-inch hose, which I believe we've already cut a PO for. And I don't have anything else as of yet.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, Assistant Chief Van Wert, agreeing with Chief Lombardi on the software, I've been in contact with the party. It was brought to my attention back when Assistant Chief Al Rochelle was doing it. It is a good software. A lot of neighboring towns use it, like Monroe, Stevenson, Stephanie. So definitely would be important for us to move to that platform, just based on the better customer service that we would have versus Firehouse software, among other reasons.
Thank you. Okay, commissioners' comments. Pete,
I'm all set. Thank you.
Tommy,
I have none, thank you.
Mike,
None additional at this time.
Todd.
I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen, and good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.